Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Eric Garcia because we are going to be discussing what did happen in the latest training session, because there has been a lot of curiosity when it comes to Xavi Hernandez experimenting with certain players, and he is experimenting with Eric Garcia because earlier today we did see that Xavi did experiment in the last training session, and that was Eric Garcia playing as a pivot instead of Sergio Busquets. And so this is very interesting, my friends. I have no idea why Xavi Hernandez is making a decision like this at this time of the season, but in the end it is very interesting. It does bring up a lot of things, it does change a lot, and so we are going to be discussing that. Like, what is the ripple effect if we actually do see Eric Garcia officially becoming one of the central defensive midfielders for Barcelona in the very near future, maybe even possibly within the season. So there is so much that we do have to tactically discuss. It is going to be some sort of like a long video, but before we go into any of this, I do want to speak about the partnership between Barca Media and Sorare. Sorare has came to an agreement with Barca Media that they will be doing collaborations for the fans for this channel. Now, what does this mean? It basically means this. Sorare, it is a digital collectible company and fantasy football game. It is a website. Within that website, you would be able to own your own digital cards. You can collect these cards, you can trade these cards with your friends, and you can use these cards that you do own, right, every week and create a 5-man lineup every weekday and every weekend. And depending on how those specific players do perform and who you place within that 5-man lineup, you are going to be winning special prizes. And so of course there are going to be different tiers when it comes to these digital collectibles, these digital cards. There is the limited tier, the rare tier, the super rare tier, and the unique tier. If you use the link in the description box down below, if you do buy a total of 5 cards that is on auction, you will win one free limited card. It's a very exclusive deal. It is a deal that Barca Media and Sorare have created for you guys over here. And so if you guys do want to join in on all of this fun, you guys can so by starting in that link that I will be providing down below. You guys can also follow my account. I do have an account. I'm going to be placing my username here, and you guys can follow me on what I do every weekday and every weekend, what type of prizes I do win, what type of cards I have. Maybe we can trade in the future. And so again, it is going to be a lot of fun. And lastly, I just want to thank Sorare for supporting a content creator like me. And so now let's get back into the video. And so look, we are going to be talking about the ripple effects when it comes to Eric Garcia playing as a central defensive midfielder. Point number one, if Eric Garcia ends up playing in this role, I do see Sergio Busquets seeing less minutes, because this is something that is extremely mandatory. And especially when you know that Busquets is 32, 33 years old, he is getting older, he cannot play 90 minutes every weekend. And we have always questioned, like, who is going to be next after Sergio Busquets? Well, now it does look like Xavi Hernandez is potentially putting his faith on Eric Garcia. And now let's move on towards point number two. This also does bring up the conversation. Does Xavi even count on someone like Nico Gonzalez, someone who has played within this role throughout his youth career? Because this only leads towards Nico Gonzalez having the option to play as an interior, meaning playing in the exact same position of Xavi or Pedri or Frankie de Jong. And look, if Xavi truly needed a central defensive midfielder, he would have gone for Nico Gonzalez, but that's not what we're seeing. And we would have never seen Xavi Hernandez try to experiment Eric Garcia playing within that pivot role, a role where he has never been in at all throughout his youth career and in the first team. And the fact that he does have one that has played in that role like Nico Gonzalez, but he's still placing his faith on Eric Garcia, that again brings up a whole other different conversation. It makes me very nervous, right? Because if you're telling me that Xavi is just going to say, I'm going to be placing Nico Gonzalez as an interior because I just do not see him as a central defensive midfielder in the first team, he's going to have to learn a lot, because we have already seen him play within that position when it comes to playing as a interior midfielder, and he does not look very comfortable. Every time he receives the ball higher up the pitch than he normally does, he does look very lost. He does not know what that next step is supposed to look like. And so it does bring in a lot of questions regarding Nico Gonzalez's future. Now let's move on towards point number 3, and that is going to be this. If Eric Garcia does play and his definitive role ends up being the central defensive midfield position, Barcelona, Joan Laporta, Mateo Lemán, Xavi Hernandez are really going to have to re-strategize. How can we continue to strengthen our defensive line? What other center back should come in? Because yes, we have Araujo, yes, we do have Gerard Piqué, yes, we do have Christensen, who is going to be another new arrival, but who else? We have 3 different great center backs within the 2 pairing center backs that we do display on the field, but we need another one. We need more reinforcements. Could it be Rudiger from Chelsea? Could it be Lisandro Martinez from Ajax, a player that we have discussed about recently through the media? Because there has been many reports stating that Lisandro Martinez is looking for a new house in Barcelona. Jordi Cruyff really does want this player. A bunch of like media talk, a bunch of reports that has been coming out when it comes to this center back. So maybe right now we're putting puzzles together. Maybe the reason on why Lisandro Martinez is looking for a house at Barcelona, maybe it's because there is a potential move that could happen. Maybe Xavi Hernandez has spoken with this player because now he's making a decision of, okay, we're going to be taking away one center back, Eric Garcia, and shift him into the central defensive midfield position. So there could be a big reason on why they are scouting this player, is because Xavi Hernandez is again converting Eric Garcia into a brand new role. So you see how like this does change a lot of things. You see how this does bring a huge ripple effect within this squad. Now look, when it comes to like me, right, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this whole thing. When it comes to the player itself, right, regardless of all of these ripple effects and what could happen, right, the aftermath, let's just talk about the player itself. When it comes to him and him playing within this role, I love it. I really do like it because he does have the quality tactically to do very well within this role. Because just look at how we discussed about Eric Garcia in that previous video between Barcelona and Cadiz. Eric Garcia had a great game, and it is for a very big reason. Now, before we continue through this video, I'm going to be putting on the timestamps so you guys can go look at the replay between Barcelona and Cadiz and go on that exact minute and second, because I just do not know if YouTube is going to be blocking these moments here or if I can upload these videos on YouTube, because YouTube doesn't like when I do like copyright stuff and they're going to take my video down. But if that does happen, if you guys just see like a black screen after I do place these videos as examples on why Eric Garcia will do very well within this position, I'm very sorry. Again, I'm going to be putting the timestamps down below. I'm also going to be posting the videos on Instagram, so you guys can just click the link that I'm also going to be providing. That'll take you straight to my Instagram, and you guys can see like the examples that I am going to be showing you guys. So look, going back to the topic, in that previous video that I did make between Cadiz and Barcelona, Eric Garcia had a great game. And one of the reasons on why Eric Garcia had a great game is because he knew exactly where to place the ball and when. And again, I'm going to be bringing you guys the examples when Eric Garcia did play against Cadiz. Let's go on minute 2 and 25 seconds. Eric Garcia receives the ball and then he immediately passes that long ball towards Dembele. The reason why Eric Garcia did pass that ball to Dembele very quickly, it is because Eric Garcia knew that Dembele was going to find himself in a 1v1 situation. Now let's move on towards minute 4 and 36 seconds. Again, Eric Garcia receives the ball and he brings Dembele the exact same situation. This is the type of thing that we want to see coming from a central defensive midfielder. Eric Garcia showed the intelligence, and he always asked, why would I want to place the ball there? Well, we do see here the reason why Eric Garcia did place the ball there. It is because he wants to bring these players, his teammates, the best situation possible, to bring Dembele in a 1v1 situation. You need the speed, you need the composure on the ball, you need the sharpness of the pass, and Eric Garcia does deliver that exact package, and that is why he makes his teammates much better. Now we move on towards the 22nd minute and 44th second, and you can just see this is just another example on why Eric Garcia has the awareness, he has the sharpness within his pass in order to make a long ball like this. It brings Barcelona in a much different phase of the attack. And so I do believe that, right, we look at all of these examples, and I do believe that Xavi was probably looking at all of this and saying, okay, I'm looking at this, right, and I'm seeing Eric Garcia place these wonderful passes. He knows exactly why he's making these passes. What if we do place this player higher up the pitch and play as a central defensive midfielder? And so again, this is why Xavi Hernandez is experimenting with this player playing within that role, because he is someone that knows exactly where to pass it and why he is doing it. And he also reacts very well to the high press. He's very press resistant. We have talked about this before. Now I know when it comes to the 1v1s, when it comes to defending, he's not at his best, but one of the reasons on why he continues to get dismantled on the 1v1 situation when he does have to defend is because he is considered as the last man. And when you are the last man and you're not good at that specific thing, that team is going to be suffering, which is why Barcelona do suffer a lot when Eric Garcia is placed in a 1v1 situation. Now, what is the answer to that? What is the cure to Eric Garcia? That would be this: Xavi Hernandez placing Eric Garcia in that central defensive midfield role, because he will no longer be that last man and Barcelona no longer do have to suffer as much. Eric Garcia would find himself with a lot of cover behind him with potentially Christensen and Araujo. So a decision like this does make a lot of sense. I know that I'm kind of like going everywhere right now, but it brings so many tactical like ideas ideas. It's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. And I want to bring you guys like another picture so you can have like another idea on what Eric Garcia could bring and why Xavi Hernandez does see this player playing within this position in the future. Now let's look at this picture here, right? And I made this graph on Y-Scout. You guys cannot find this anywhere else, but I'm going to be showing you guys here. I did pay for this, but I really want you guys to understand just the magnitude on what could happen if this ends up being successful. Now, what can we take from this picture here? Point number one, Eric Garcia is more superior than any of these three central defensive midfielders in terms of accurate passes, right? Then we can see that he is in second place when it comes to passes per 90, and that is because he does enjoy being on the ball. He always wants to be on the ball. Him playing, right? Eric Garcia playing as a central defensive midfielder would give him exactly that. It will give him more opportunities to be on the ball because he just simply likes to do it. That is why he does have a total of 74.43 passes per 90 and is in second place compared to Rodri, Casemiro, and Sergio Busquets. Then when it comes to the defensive duels, right? The percentage. It surprises me a lot that he is the number one when compared to Rodri, Casemiro, and Sergio Busquets, because we have seen him fail a lot and we have seen Eric Garcia fail and Barcelona suffer. I just do think that the reason why Eric Garcia does get a lot of hate is because, again, he is considered as that last man. Maybe, yes, it is true that Eric Garcia does have better defensive duels, one in terms of like the percentage compared to Rodri, Casemiro, and Sergio Busquets, but his failures, right, when he actually does fail, it is very decisive and it is very critical because, again, he is that last man. So it is very interesting. And then when it comes to the recoveries per 90, he is almost in the exact same category of Rodri, Casemiro, Sergio Busquets. And then when it comes to the defensive mistakes, of course, Eric Garcia is one of the worst. One of the reasons on why Eric Garcia does produce a number like this is because Barcelona in general do have a lot of trouble getting out from the back, which is why he does have a lot of own half losses per 90. But in the end, this is going to be my conclusion. I do think that Eric Garcia should practice playing within this role. I do think that he can be Sergio Busquets' successor in the future. It is going to be taking some time. He does need a lot of practice under Xavi, but I do think it could work because I have seen Garcia wanting to be in the area of Busquets. He always likes to run up and get away from his area and go into the midfield and see what he can provide for the team. It's something that he loves, and I think that Xavi Hernandez wants to push him towards that idea. But that is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona Daily News. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.